Hello. So today I wanted to talk about maximising performance as a small employer. And I'm probably going to go into things that you may not have even thought about doing, or you probably do, but you don't analyse some of that stuff. So as a business owner, you're always looking to increase your business performance because it makes a difference to business profits, obviously. So the first thing I'm going to say to you is that you need to evaluate your performance. So I would ask you, do you know what the average task time takes with your employees? That is the first thing I think employees need to understand. And some people use apps, and that's really great, but you still need to analyse that information and extract the averages so that you know and can plan your performance across the week, the month, the year. The second thing is, do you look at trends of work received and then the outputs against those trends of work? Again, if you're going to be a successful business, you need to monitor those trends because they will go up and down. And I mean, one of the bonuses is if you monitor it, is that you'll find that you can that it follows year on year quite often. And I did it recently with my daughter, who's a photographer, wedding and newborn. And you could see that she had the same period of time where it was very quiet and then it would go up in certain months. Of course, COVID has affected that a lot. So I would say you need to look across several years to get your real trends. Thanks, Shad. Appreciate that. Then the other thing I would say is, having got your average task time and knowing your work trends in and out, it gives you the opportunity to then explore on a weekly, monthly and quarterly basis. Is something going on? Is it taking longer sometimes? Is it quicker sometimes? Because that can be interesting. If you get new people in, everybody always says, and I always remember this story, I can remember examining a type of post inquiry and looked at the average times, and they were taking a lot longer. So I went to the managers and I asked them what was going on, and they said, oh, we've got somebody new learning the work, and it was a different type of work. And I said, no, it's not that. It's not that type of work that's been affected. It's your post. And they were shocked. And actually, the new person was doing it quicker than the ones that had already been doing it for a long time. So that was quite enlightening. And this is taking the time out, because it's your business as a small business owner and employer, to look at what's really going on in your business, to work out where you need to make changes. And if you don't do that, you're going to stagnate. You're going to stay small. And if you've got plans of absolutely growing your business, then you need to understand the rudiments of it. So I hope that helps. And it's so easy, isn't it, to get stuck in that work mode, to be actually doing the tasks. And what you need to do is step away and look at your business holistically. Difficult to find the time, but this is the very time when you should be looking at your tasks and who can you delegate them to. And if you're struggling with delegation, then my success with employees membership covers that. Anyway, back to where I was. I always, as operational lead, was very hands-on about monitoring the work in and looking at the performance. And there was one period where we got a lot of post inquiries in, very general post inquiries, and I was trying to work out what was going on. And then I drilled down and found it was a particular type of post that was having this issue, and it was taking a lot longer as well. So I went and did what I call a go and see. So you go to the team and you actually explore, what are they getting in, what's actually happening, what can you do about it? And what I found, because I'd asked, was we were giving out a blanket answer, which actually left us open to a legal backlash if I hadn't spotted it. So we came up with a new wording, working with a team, of what they could say that still answered the customer's inquiry, but covered the back end so that we couldn't get any flack from it. And as a business, you've got to think about that side as well for yourself. And then as a result of that, the work was done on the back end to stop all those kind of inquiries coming in. So for a long while, we had to put extra people on. And if I hadn't investigated that, we probably would have taken a while to spot, and we would have had chaos. And those customers would have been complaining about the wait. So it's really great to keep an eye on what work's coming in, how long it's taking. If it's taking longer than you expect, then go and visit and find out why. And if it's quicker, well, then what can the others learn? Perhaps send somebody who takes longer to the quickest to shadow. It might feel to you like you're losing resource, but long term, it's really going to gain insight for your business. Now, of course, if you're only small and you've only got one employee doing each role, you still need to understand what's going on and note it and keep this information for more people coming on board, because that will give you insights as you go along. Okay, let me see what else I was going to cover. I've written loads, for this. So the next thing I was going to say about maximising your performance is to look at your roles and responsibilities. So are your team really clear on their responsibilities? Because that means that they can be focused if they know what their jurisdiction is, if they know what their responsibilities are for achieving those goals. It is so imperative that they know where they fit into achieving the goals and objectives of the business. And then it's crucial to make sure that they fit together as a team to achieve those goals. So it's not one person on their own. The standard one, there's no I in team, but it's true, because if you want the business to succeed, then they've got to work as a team. And there can be times when an emergency may crop up at home and somebody has to go off. Do you have anybody who can cover? And if so, how are they going to cover? Do they have enough knowledge? Something to think about as a small business. So one of the things you could do is bottom out what your top priority tasks are, and then perhaps get other team members to train up on those particular areas. But it's not just giving them an overview, it's about actually letting them do that work so it embeds. Now, again, that can be quite difficult in a small business, but it's worth starting to think about that if you've got any intention of growing. Okay. Then, what else do you need to look at? Well, I think you need to look at your policy and your processes and monitor the progress as well. So that means that if you're monitoring it with a team, then you can tackle if there are any issues. So one thing I would suggest that you do is, if you're a face-to-face team, get a whiteboard, put what your objectives are on there, what everybody's planning for the week, and then daily or several times in the week, have a catch-up and discuss what the board's showing and ask how everybody's going. And it's at that point they can raise the issues. Now, of course, you're going to think it's going to take a lot of time, but I would make it short and snappy, no more than 15 minutes. That gives the opportunity for people to really share what's bothering them. And then if it needs longer, then you take it away for a longer problem solving. So that's one thing you could do. If you're a virtual team, a remote working team, then you could have a virtual whiteboard, and you can still have your quick 15-minute session at some point in the day. Certainly from my point of view, when I was leading a project last year, we met daily about 10 o'clock every morning, and we'd talk about what was shown, what we needed to get done, what our actions were, what our objectives were. And then I would always check in how the staff were feeling as well, because there's nothing like giving them the opportunity to share when something's bothering them. As we got towards the end stages of the project, then we met twice a day, morning and afternoon, because we wanted to make sure we were all in the same place and we knew that we were really under pressure, and it just gave that little bit of extra support to each other. So again, that's something to think about. Okay, the third part to me is about setting stretching but realistic goals with your team members. So as we've mentioned earlier in responsibilities, you really need to be articulating the objectives of the business and then linking the goals to how that fits together so that they can see the link. If they can't see the link, they will understand what their purpose is and what it's all about. So it's really crucial that you have clear strategic objectives that drill down into team version. Okay. And also, by doing that and by understanding each other's work a bit more, it builds a better team spirit. And also, you'll find that people will share when they've got problems, and you might well need to look at your process. You might actually find you've got some waste in it that you could get rid of. I always remember working with a team where they were moving work out of one cabinet into another, and then another. And so I said, well, what happens between each move? And nothing actually happened. So at the end of the day, it's really great if you can take time out to look at your processes as well. But that's something when you've been going a while. Okay. Now think about your flexibility. So again, this goes back to your priorities. So get them shadowing, buddying, seeing what each other does. Think about, perhaps sharing notes and a help card so that they can see what each other does and then perhaps have a go at it, because that creates a better understanding. Can you hear the ice cream van? I wonder if you can hear it. It's busy there. No, actually, that's maybe one of my ice cream, but hey, I'm not supposed to be eating ice cream. So, okay, so that's building in your flexibility. So, this goes back to business continuity, contingency planning as well, because you want to make your business as secure as possible and know that it's covered at all times. And yes, you're the business owner and you could probably start doing some stuff, but you need to be thinking about strategic stuff. Let me get the word out. Okay. And lastly, I wanted to touch on performance appraisals. Now, I'm going to be controversial here. I personally don't like yearly performance appraisals. I actually think they're a total waste of time, if I'm really honest. And what I think is that you should be catching up with your employees every 4 to 6 weeks. It doesn't have to be a long session. It can be a short focused meeting of 30 minutes and no more. The onus isn't on you doing all that work either. You get your employee to set the meetings up and you get them to make the notes. But you use that meeting to talk about their strengths and what's happened in the last few weeks since you met them formally. And this is more of a formal meeting. So you meet them and you ask them what's gone well and what could have been even better. And it's really interesting when you start talking about their strengths and about what they've done, you will see that they blossom. It really builds their confidence. And when it hasn't gone so well, they will actually open up and admit it. And you can explore in a coaching fashion, what could they have done differently? What would work next time? And when you're talking about their strengths, then ask them how they can help others in the team. Because remember, this is a team effort and we're trying to maximize performance in the team. And if they've got some great ideas of how they could support somebody else, then give them that opportunity. Empower them to do that. It really does make a difference. And I've done all these things, so I'm talking from experience. So what I would say is, why don't you try 6 short focus meetings and see how they go? Because there should be no surprises. I used to hate it when you got to the end of the year and you got told something you didn't know anything about. So my mantra was always no surprises. And I can recall having a 6-monthly performance appraisal and being told that I was on the way to a top. Can you hear that ice cream? Oh God, it's making me hungry. I haven't had tea yet. Anyway, so I had this 6 month and I was told I was going on the way to top. And then at the year end, I was told I was a good, but not a top. And it was because of my face. I know. I was like, what's wrong with my face? Apparently it was very transparent and it showed all the emotions. But I hadn't been told about that anywhere along in that previous 6 months. So it was a complete shock to me. So can you imagine, as an employee, a job holder, how that made me feel? And then I asked for specific examples of when I'd had this face that they didn't like, and they couldn't tell me. They just couldn't tell me. And so to me, that was worthless feedback. So when you're talking to your employees and you do want to give them feedback, be very specific and don't leave it 6 months. Have contact with them and talk to them properly every few weeks. And that's not to say that you don't talk to them daily or weekly. You still need to do that, but very informally. But you do need to have a more formal chat every 4 to 6 weeks, because people will continually build confidence and improve. And I'm sure you've been in situations where you've been working and nobody's giving you feedback and you've wondered, am I doing okay or am I not? So think about how they will feel. Stand in their shoes. It will make a huge difference. So I've given you a few examples there of things that you can do to maximize your performance. Let me know if you try any of them out and how you get on. And if you're really looking for some more support and help, then my Success with Employees membership is only £25 a month at the moment, or £250 a year annually, and it's locked in at that price. And that will close on Friday and be going up to a new price, because I do know how much value you're going to get out of it. So if you want to have a look at what it includes and what it's all about, then pop to www.thepeoplementor.co.uk and move across to the Work With Me, and under there you'll find the performance, the People Mentor Club. See, I'm still thinking about performance. So the People Mentor Club, okay? And if you're sitting on the fence and you're not really sure it's for you this time, and you're not worried about the price going up, I have to say, then why don't you pop along to Facebook and find my free Facebook group, which is www.facebook.com/groups/TPM Successful Office Leaders. I do training in there. At the minute, we're exploring what really everybody wants, and I did a live in there and I've left it in there for some comments. I also add little training bits via documents and things and files and templates that you can use. So I can assure you it's really good value, because that's me. I like to give as much as possible. So that's it for today. Hope you found that useful, and let me know if you've got any questions, comments, or if you want more subjects covered. Tell me what subjects you want covering, because happy to help. Thank you, and thank you for listening. Take care. Bye. Have a good evening.